Is the screen visible now? Okay. ನಾಳೆ right. Continuing our discussions on various tests to be conducted on UZ cables, underground cables. Now let us look at what was discussed in our earlier class. Can anybody recall? Hmm? Yes. Yeah, in our earlier class, we discussed about insulation resistance measurement by the use of Megger. So today we'll continue with the further part of it, that is high voltage test at site. So as per the IS standards, this test has to be conducted after erection of the circuit breaker. The purpose of conducting this test is to find the defects in the insulation. The test voltage applied during this test is generally for 1 minute. And this test voltage, high voltage test, during high voltage test, the test voltage is applied between the tested part and the earthed part, such as when the circuit breaker is closed, the tested part is R phase and earthed part is the other two phases, Pi phase and B phase. Are you getting this? One terminal is connected to R phase and another terminal is connected to Y phase when the breaker is closed. Once with Y and again with B, each for 1 minute we apply the high voltage. Similarly, tested part is Y phase, then earthed part other two, B and R. Again the third one is tested part is B, and again R and Y are the earthed parts. Likewise, when the breaker is closed, HV test is conducted. Second test is when the breaker is open. Here what we do is the breaker contacts RYB are short circuited short circuited on the bus bar side, and voltage is applied from the other side consecutively to each phase. When the circuit breaker is open, what we have done is the circuit breaker contacts are short circuited on the bus bar side, and from the other side the voltage is applied. The purpose of HV tests on the circuit breakers are to define the insulation characteristics, means to let know the functioning of insulation, proper insulation, to standardize the insulation levels. Yes, because if we have used class A, class B, class H, etc., it has to, as per the IS, it has to withstand certain voltages, whether it is able to, whether the supplied circuit breaker is having that level of insulation, yes or no. To find out that, we conduct this test to specify the marking on the rating plates indicating insulation levels, and to confirm that there is no cracks in the porcelain, no dust and moisture present in the circuit breaker. Yes, because of the moisture and because of the dust, it becomes a conductive path. It becomes a conductive path. So when we apply high voltage, then it will not present, the circuit breaker will not show the insulation characteristics. It will fail to show. It means there is some dust and moisture. Then after cleaning it, again we have to conduct the test. The HV tests on the circuit breakers include the following. What are they? Impulse voltage dry withstand test. Impulse voltage dry withstand test. Impulse voltage is applied on the circuit breaker and it is tested for the confirmation. Then 1 minute power frequency voltage dry withstand test. Dry withstand test. Similarly, 1 minute power frequency voltage wet withstand test. So generally HV tests are conducted for 1 minute, not more than that. Power frequency voltage withstand tests are conducted by applying specific high voltage alternating quantity for 1 minute. High voltage testing transformer is an important component of the HV testing of circuit breakers. Because it needs to generate, we require a testing transformer. It needs to generate very high voltages. Spear gaps are used for the measurement of high voltage. This you have observed during your HV lab. Spear gaps. The spear gaps gives the peak voltage from the known spacing and standard table. The peak voltage at the instant of disruptive discharge can be obtained. So as you go on increasing the voltage level, a time will come when there is a spark between the spear gaps. So until such time we can assume that the insulation is functioning. So once there is a spark between them, that is the disruptive voltage. That is called a disruptive voltage. So this is how we can find out the disruptive voltage for insulation in the circuit breaker. Next, let us see temperature rise test. Temperature rise test. So there is meaning in the title itself. Let us try to understand the explanation along with the title. This test, which we are going to perform on the circuit breaker, not on all the circuit breakers, but the representative of the batch of the circuit breaker. Suppose for a particular design we are manufacturing 1000 circuit breakers. This test will be conducted on maybe one in a day or one in 2 days kind of thing, because design is same. So we are not going to test this on all the circuit breakers. It is only one piece of a batch. So this is, therefore, this is called a type test. It's not the routine test. We know the difference between a routine test and type test. Type tests are generally conducted on one piece from a batch, whereas the routine tests on all the products, on all the pieces of circuit breakers. Here what we do is rated current at rated frequency is passed through the circuit breaker by keeping the contacts in the closed position. We are applying the rated current at the rated frequency through the circuit breaker by keeping the contacts closed continuously till the steady temperature is reached. Steady temperature is reached. So when the current is flowing in any circuit, we can observe I, then I square R effect. Because of the R resistance, we observe some heat being generated. So similar thing happens in the circuit breaker also. So readings of various conducting, insulating and structural parts are taken at an interval of 1.5 hours. When steady temperature is reached, the maximum temperature rise of each part should be less than the permitted value. Yes. When there is no current flowing in the circuit breaker, there is no question of heat being generated. The purpose of this test is when this is put into operation, currents flow through the circuit breaker. When currents flow through the circuit breaker, there is heat generated. And because of this heat, when it starts dissipating with the other parts, we are supposed to know what is the maximum temperature of each part of the circuit breakers. It is very much similar to the iron box. Iron box. When we are pressing our dress, what is expected is only the base of the iron should be hot, not the body, not the handle. Not the body, not the handle. But we observe the body of the iron box also carry some temperature, also the handle. It is because of the heat dissipated in the media. So if the temperature is more, what might happen is we may feel the heat when we are holding the handle of the iron box. and there must be a permissible heat. So if it is too hot, we may not be able to use the iron box. In the similar way, for the circuit breaker also, we test the temperature rise of each of the part of the circuit breaker, whether it is within the permissible value, stated value, desired value. ಹೌದೇ ಮುಟ್ಟಿದೆ ಸಾರಿ ಬಸ್ ಶುರುವಾಗಿ ಅಂತ ಇವತ್ತು ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಬಂದರೂ ಬರ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು ಇವ್ರನ್ನ ಭೇಟಿ ಆಗೋದೈತೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡೋಲ್ಲ ಮತ್ತೆ ಹ್ಞೂ ಬರೋಕ್ಕೆ ನೀನು ಬರೋಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಆಯ್ತು ಹ್ಞೂ ಸರಿ ಆಯ್ತು ಓಕೆ ಹ್ಞೂ So everybody is there. Let us just let me see. Please raise your hands. Let me see how many of you are active. Quickly. Yeah. Good. Good. Hmm. Yes. Gautam. 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 Hand rise. Hand rise is not happening. Kavya. Radha. Shraddha. Hmm. I see this. Okay. Another 7. I don't see hand rise from Kavya, Radha, and Taslim. Yes. Good. Gautam, what is this? What is the main objective of temperature rise test? Continue, continue. No, I don't. I don't. I wait, 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 wait. I don't want you to read it. I want you to give the summary of it, just in one or two sentences. What is the main thing in it? Why this temperature rise test is being done? Main thing should come in the first or second sentence. No, it has to be in a sentence form. Sorry, it is not correct. Shaukat will tell. Shaukat will tell what is the purpose of this test. Shaukat. Shaukat. Rupa. Yeah, continue. Rahul. Rahul. Yeah, continue. Continue the answer for the question. See, the answer is in the title. Answer is in the title. Correct? Pramod, go with the answer. Hmm. Hazra. Hmm. Half an hour. Correct. Hmm. Correct. See, how we have to understand what we read. There is a way to understand. We should be able to pick what is important, what are the important keywords in this particular paragraph, and we should be able to correlate that with the title. That is the art of study. So title is temperature rise test. Okay, when you are reading this on your own, the first word comes, this is a type test. So when we know this is a type test, then we know the definition of type test. What is that? It is not carried out on every piece of the product, only one piece from a particular batch. So that is the explanation with respect to that particular word, type test. Temperature rise test is a type test. Then you know what is a type test. Temperature rise. The next keyword comes is, we apply rated current at rated frequency. Rated current and rated frequency is one word, and of course associated to that, the circuit breaker contacts are to be closed. That is a common sense. So the second keyword is, apply rated current at rated frequency, keeping the contacts of the circuit breaker closed. So once we do this, and we can see that current is now flowing, because of which we observe there is a heat generated because of I square R effect, and that heat generated gets dissipated around wherever it is coming into contact. So what will happen? Current is flowing in the conductor. Around the conductor there is insulation. That insulation is housed in the slots, and those slots are connected to the body, and structural means it is the body of the circuit breaker. So this heat is getting dissipated all around, all the parts of the circuit breaker. So here what we are trying to do is, we are trying to note down the readings for every half an hour, how much temperature is being observed at various parts of the circuit breakers. That is the objective of this test, whether that temperature is within the limit or not. Limit or not. So this is how, when we read any paragraph associated to particular title, we should be able to pick some of the keywords in it, and go around. They must be sequential. So take any paragraph, you will not find more than 5 keywords, and which will be very much associated to each other, one another. So this is how we can study, understand. Yes, let us proceed further. I think screen is visible to you, right? Okay, good. The next test is mechanical test. Endurance test. Endurance. Mechanical test is endurance test. What is endurance? It is the ability to work under difficult situations. Ability to work under difficult situations, or it is the capacity of something to last or to withstand wear and tear. Yeah. The simple meaning of endurance is very simple. If you are running a marathon of 20 kilometers, and suppose we have started now. Now we are at the 0 kilometer. We have to run the marathon for 20 kilometers. Even at the 19th kilometer, after passing the 19th kilometer, we have the same energy level of what we had at the 0 to 1 kilometer. Are you getting this? Energy level at 0 to 1 kilometer, whatever we had, energy level and excitement and discussions with the co-participants, we should have had same energy level at the 19 to 20 kilometers also. That is called endurance.